Hello, everyone, welcome back to the channel Global Times USA. Please subscribe and like my videos, because today we are going to take you deep inside one of the most shocking and unprecedented developments in modern warfare. What unfolded in Moscow recently with the massive Ukrainian drone strikes engulfing parts of the city in flames is being described as a turning point. And in this long review-style analysis, we will break it down from every angle. Think of this like a review of an event where the exterior, interior, performance, safety features, unique selling points, price, and conclusion are all examined so that you can understand not only what happened, but what it means on a global scale. When you look at the exterior of this situation, the first impression is almost cinematic. Moscow's skyline, usually glittering with modern towers and historic domes, was suddenly scarred by multiple fires, smoke clouds, and emergency sirens filling the air. The exterior gives us the immediate visual: high rises with shattered windows, glowing infernos in commercial complexes, roads littered with debris from intercepted and exploded drones, and residents rushing out of apartments in shock. This exterior impression is very powerful because it tells us that no matter how strong or secure a city might appear on the outside, modern drones are rewriting the rules of vulnerability. The exterior view alone sends a political message that Moscow, the capital and heart of Russia, was no longer immune, now moving toward the interior, which is where we go deeper beyond the smoke and flames. Here the story expands with human emotions, military calculations, and political ripples. The interior is about how ordinary families inside their apartments felt when they heard the buzzing of drones overhead, followed by loud explosions. Many people took shelter in underground garages, metro stations, and stairwells, realizing that the war they once thought was confined to distant front lines had now reached their own bedrooms and living rooms. The interior also involves how Russian authorities scrambled internally, emergency services rushing to burning towers, air defense units firing missiles into the night sky, and government spokespersons trying to balance acknowledgement of damage with reassurances to the public. Inside the Kremlin, the interior situation became even more tense as leadership had to assess not just the physical destruction, but also the psychological effect on the nation. For Ukraine, the interior meaning was also profound. It was about sending a message of capability, proving that Ukrainian engineers with limited resources could design drones capable of reaching deep into Russian territory, bypassing sophisticated air defenses, and striking symbolic targets. This interior perspective is vast and complex, involving not just military, but also civilian, political, and even cultural dimensions. It highlights the sense of insecurity that spreads like wildfire when the very core of a nation feels exposed. This is the real weight of the interior story. It is not just about broken glass and burning buildings, but about the shaken confidence of millions. When we analyze performance, the Ukrainian drones demonstrated surprising efficiency. These were not just random gadgets, but carefully designed unmanned aerial systems that traveled hundreds of kilometers, some flying low to avoid radar detection, and others programmed to swarm simultaneously. The performance of these drones showed precision targeting, endurance in flight, and the ability to overwhelm Russian defenses by sheer numbers. In performance terms, this was like a demonstration to the world. Here is how relatively inexpensive machines can penetrate one of the most fortified air defense systems on the planet. The performance evaluation also includes how Russia's defense systems responded. While Russian officials claim to have intercepted many drones, the fact remains that multiple drones did slip through and caused visible destruction. So, if we score performance, Ukraine's drones achieved their goal by proving reach, shock factor, and damage, while Russia's performance in defense showed gaps that must now be urgently addressed. Safety features in this context take on a different meaning. For Moscow residents, safety features were tested at every level, from fire alarms and evacuation routes in skyscrapers to the readiness of hospitals and emergency responders. The safety protocols in some places worked, allowing people to evacuate quickly and minimizing casualties, but the sheer panic also revealed weaknesses. Russia's safety features in terms of its strategic defense were also put under the microscope. The air defense system, meant to keep the capital untouchable, suddenly looked less than invincible. On the Ukrainian side, the safety feature was psychological as well, to send drones instead of risking pilots and manned aircraft. This showed that modern warfare now carries a built-in safety feature for attackers, the use of unmanned systems that protect human life while delivering heavy blows. When it comes to unique selling points, this attack had several. The first USP is symbolism. Moscow, the seat of Russian power, was struck directly, sending shockwaves worldwide. The second USP is technological. Drones that cost a fraction of traditional missiles or fighter jets managed to cause millions of dollars worth of damage and force a rethinking of defense strategies. The third USP is psychological, the idea that nowhere is truly safe anymore, and that technology has changed the battlefield in ways that make even the most powerful nations vulnerable in their own capitals. Ukraine's ability to stage such an attack became a unique selling point of its resilience and innovation, while for Russia, the unique selling point was unfortunately exposure, the exposure of weaknesses in its protective armor. Now, if we talk about price, the contrast becomes dramatic. The estimated cost of a Ukrainian drone ranges from a few $1,000s to maybe tens of thousands for more advanced models. Compare that to the millions Russia spends on each missile interceptor, or the billions invested in building skyscrapers, commercial centers, and air defense grids. In terms of price effectiveness, Ukraine achieved an asymmetric advantage, spending relatively little to cause enormous economic, psychological, and political cost on Russia. On the Russian side, the price tag includes rebuilding damaged infrastructure, repairing morale, and reinforcing defenses. Price also includes international perception, because global markets, investors, and diplomats react strongly to the sight of flames in Moscow's skyline. In conclusion, the massive Ukrainian drone strikes that engulfed Moscow in flames must be understood as more than just explosions in the night. This was a test of exterior appearance, showing that even the proud skyline of Russia's capital could be scarred. This was about the interior vulnerability, reminding people that safety is not guaranteed even in the heart of power. This was about performance, proving drones as formidable tools of modern warfare. This was about safety features, revealing both strengths and cracks in Russia's defenses. This was about unique selling points, underlining symbolism, technology, and psychology. This was about price, highlighting the asymmetric advantage of drones versus massive defense budgets. Ultimately, the conclusion is that this strike may reshape strategies, accelerate the arms race in drone warfare, and push both sides further toward escalation. It also signals to the world that the future of war is no longer about just tanks and jets, but about swarms of intelligent, low-cost machines that can bypass traditional power. The engulfing flames of Moscow are not just about destruction, but about a warning to every nation watching. The battlefield has changed forever.